Hi, students. Let's do this game together. Let's do a game from Prep Test 86, Section 2, Game 2. I feel like I should write that on here. I don't know why. Just to clarify. Also, it drives me crazy if it doesn't have the right. Getting distracted. I need to focus on just doing this. So just so y'all know, I cannot put the exam up on the screen. So when you see me looking down, I am reading from paper. Hopefully you will have this printed out, or you can also have Prep Plus up in another window. So what we have here is an ordering game with 6 variables. So I'm going to create my base, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then my variables, we'll call those J, K, N, R, S, and V. So this is a 1-to-1 distribution. We're just gonna, every available spot is gonna get 1 variable. Every variable gets assigned once. Now let's look at our rules and diagram them. The first rule I'm gonna skip for a minute because I feel like negative rules, to me, they make more sense after I've seen the positive rules. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just how I think about it. The second rule to me is helpful. Here's what it says. This gives us a string where things have to be in that order. These don't all have to be next to each other, no, but they do have to be in that order. We also know our next rule is going to be a split option. There's only 2 possible placements for n. And then our last rule, okay, interesting. This last rule is going to somehow interact with the n rule. We're going to have r before n, at some point before n. And let's not forget our original rule that I skipped over, that these 2, J and V, cannot touch. They can't be next to each other in either order. So I do feel like I would be highly likely to set up boards for this game because n being on 2 or n being on 3 is very powerful, especially when combined with the fact that r needs to be in front of n. But I don't think I'm going to do that for this video, though. It's more something I would do if I was just doing it by myself. I'm trying to see if there is a free agent, if there's a variable that doesn't have a rule attached to it. I think J has a rule attached to it. It can't be next to V. J. Yeah, every single variable has a rule attached to it. Okay, well, let's look at number 1. How early could K possibly be? I actually don't know. I would probably want to test this one out a little bit. Because, well, K needs to have something in front of it. There's no way that K could be second. I'll show you why. K was second, we would have to put N right here. V would have to be here, except R would also have to smush in there somehow. So we know it's not second, and we also know, well, let's see, could it possibly be third? Could K be third? N would have to be second, and this gives us literally the same problem. V would have to go before K, and R needs to be before N. So how can they can't share. Someone would have to be on somebody's lap. That's not going to happen. So what about fourth? Is that a possibility? Well, I don't see why not. S would have to be somewhere over here. V would have to be somewhere over here. I'm just going to try a way to try it out. Let's say I put N right here. And then I put R right here. And then I put V right here. And then I did J and S in either order. This works, doesn't it? I'm following all the rules. KS, RN, J is not next to V. Yeah, this works. So K could be on fourth. And that's the earliest it could be. It can't be on third, second, or first. So the correct answer to this one is D. So number 8 asks us about where J can't be. I'm looking at my previous work and I know J can be on 5 or 6. See? So oftentimes you can use your previous work to get rid of something right there. But where can J not be? Let's test this out. Could J possibly be third? Well, if J was third, this would set off a chain reaction. N would be second, right? Because N has to be either second or third. We also know that R needs to be before N. So R would have to be right here. And this leaves me with 3 more variables to assign, which are V, K, and S. And they need to be assigned in that order. So they would have to be assigned like that. That's not going to work because J and V aren't allowed to be next to each other. So for that reason, there's no way that J could be third. On the LSAT, don't erase your work, but I've already taken the LSAT. So the correct answer is C. What about number 9? Saying there is something that there's a certain condition that when you make that condition happen, it forces K to be fourth. That's what they're asking basically. What would force K to be fourth? I'm just kind of looking at and seeing if this, let's test out 6. Let's test out A. If J was 5, what kind of a chain reaction would that possibly set off? Well, all I'm seeing is that like V can't be next to it, which it couldn't be anyway. It's not really that important. It's really late and I'm tired, so I know if you see the time, you probably think, oh, it's early. No, I've been awake all night. So I might not be doing these in the most efficient manner. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create 2 possibilities for J on 5 because there's this very powerful rule that happens right on the base. N only has 2 options, and that's good. I like powerful rules. You could put N on 2 or you could put N on 3. So looking at my top option, if N is on 2, then R would have to be right here. And this leaves me to assign V, K, and S. And they're going to have to be assigned in that order. So that's one possible way of doing things. Another possible way is, looking at the bottom now, I know that N needs to have R before it. But I feel like R could go in either one of these spots. And then we have to assign V, K, and S again, like that. So basically in my bottom option, R and V could be in 1 or 2 either way. And then we're going to have N, K, J, and S. So when J is 5th, it does force K to be 4th. That actually gave us a total of 3 possibilities, and in every single one, because the first one is 1 possibility, and the one underneath is actually 2, because R and V can flip. But no matter what, K is 4th. So the correct answer is A. The next question is about assignment. It's saying basically how many of these variables could possibly be assigned to 5. Sometimes these questions will say, like, what is a complete and accurate list of the variables that could be in 5, or the people, or whatever, the children, the toys, the cakes, whatever. But this is actually saying, like, how many. So I'm going to look at still got it. I'm going to look at my previous work and see if that will help me. I can actually see that for my previous work, I can see either J or S could be in 5. So that's 2. What else? What else could possibly be 5th? Well, I know that N can't. I'm going to kind of make like a, it can be or it can't be. There's no way that N could. There's also no way, because N has to be in 2 or 3, there's also no way that V could be 5th, because V needs to have 2 variables behind it. So V is a no. And what does that leave me with? K and R. Could K be 5th? Could R be 5th? Well, R can't be 5th because R needs to have N behind it, and N needs to be in either 2 or 3. So we're going to put R over here in the out group. And what about K? Could K be 5th? I don't see why not. As I look at the master diagram, it doesn't look like it would be a problem. I could actually test it out. K and then S, and V would go anywhere before it. N could be on either 2 or 3. Let's try it with do that. This is going to put J and V together. It's not going to work. Let's try putting N on 3. And R would go before it. You could do that. Right, this works. We have the VKS string. We have R's before N. And then J isn't next to V. So this works. K could be on 5. So we have 3 total variables that could be on 5. So that answer is C. I like the next one. It gives us a local condition. If V is 4th, a local rule, maybe I should say 1, 2, 3, 4. I like it because it tells me what to do. So how many people could be 2nd? Well, I don't know. Oh, I know something. V needs to be before K and S. So let's go ahead and fill those in. Now, what else is there? Okay, well, I know that J cannot be next to V. That's another rule that's attached to V. I also know that R needs to be before N. Here's what I'm basically looking at. Those first 3 spots need to be filled by J, R, and N. There's going to be several ways to do that. J could be in either the 2nd spot, in which case R and N would be like this. J could be in the 1st spot, in which case, let me erase something. No. J could also be in the 1st spot, in which case R and N would be right here. So what was the question again? If V is 4, which it is, from what I can see, when we put V in 4, the only things that could be in 2 are J and R. Like that's it. So that is the correct answer. The correct answer is D. $12 also gives us a local rule. It's saying if S is before J. Now, normally you should not write on your master diagram. Don't do it. But this is not the LSAT. It's a YouTube video. So also, this is the last one. So what does it matter if I mess this up? That's what this is saying. Let's merge that extra rule in with the original rule. If S is before J, and then it's a must be true question. Well, I don't know. Let's try to figure this one out. I know that the last rule becomes unimportant because V is going to be like, it's going to be apart from J, so we don't even need to worry about that. Let's say that we could put N in 2. We could put N in 3. I'm going to make both of these. I'm going to create both of these sequences. So no matter what, R needs to be before N. And then we need to have V, K, S, and J go like in that order. So V, K, S, and J. And for the bottom one, really V can be in either one of those first two spots, but K, S, and J will have to go right here. So we could say R and B could be in either of the first two spots. So the question was a must be true, and there's actually a few things here that must be true, but the correct answer is E. K is always going to be in 4. All right. I'm seriously getting tired, but thank y'all for watching this video. My contact information is below. You can also just text me with questions. I absolutely love teaching LSAT, so I just really appreciate y'all taking the time to watch this video, and I really hope it's been helpful for everybody. I will see you in the next video. Bye.